All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We're excited to bring you another Blue Circle Health cooking class. We sure hope you enjoy it. Let's do some quick introductions, and then I have to do some quick housekeeping, and then we will get started. So, Rita, do you mind introducing yourself quick, please?
Sure, sure. My name is Rita Rubin. I'm a dietitian and diabetes educator here at Blue Circle. And I have been here for a little over a year. I do not live with T1D, but I have worked with people with T1D for several decades. And one of the things that I've done over those years is teach a lot of cooking classes. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I'm so glad I get to do it at Blue Circle, and so glad you all are here. Welcome.
Thank you, Rita. We are so glad you get to do these classes as well. They're a lot of fun. My name is Scott Johnson. I'm a senior manager of community here at Blue Circle Health. I've lived with type 1 diabetes for 45 years, and I appreciate you allowing me the honor and privilege of hosting today. In terms of an agenda, we've got three easy snacks that Rita will guide us through. Today, we're preparing easy homemade hummus, a delicious artichoke and spinach dip, and then easy protein bars. And I'll send all of these recipes in the chat in a moment as Rita gets started with each of them. And then I'll also, of course, include them in an email along with today's recording. I'd also like to note that we do build these classes and webinars specifically for people living with type 1 diabetes, but we recognize that there may be caregivers and healthcare professionals joining too. And of course, we welcome you and we're glad that you're here with us. Now, before we get going too far, I do need to cover some quick housekeeping items. We do welcome and encourage you to use the chat feature along the way. I will keep an eye on it throughout the session if you need anything or have any questions. This session is being recorded. Participation in this event is completely voluntary. You may choose to leave at any time. Participation may reveal your identity and any identifying information that you share with other group participants. For example, comments in the chat or during discussions. And then we are not providing medical advice, individual or otherwise, and we may refer you back to your healthcare team for detailed and individualized answers. And then finally, for anyone who is not familiar with Blue Circle Health, stick around till the end and I'll share a brief overview and answer any questions that you might have. Okay, I know that that was a lot. Thanks so much for your patience with me. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to stop this screen view and get Rita's cameras front and center. And Rita, turning it over to you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. And welcome again, everybody. We're so glad you're here. And yeah, this is going to be a really fun class because snacks are so much fun. And these are all super easy. And, I put out a little advertisement saying that the hummus has a secret ingredient. But as I'm preparing for our class today, I realized that every recipe has a secret ingredient. It's something unusual. I'm hoping that this will be really fun for you. So we'll start with a spinach artichoke dip. And I'm wondering, you guys feel free to put comments in the chat, ask questions, engage as much as you'd like or as little as you'd like. But I'm wondering if anybody's done a spinach artichoke dip, if you've ever made it, if you've had it. It's kind of, I think it's been around for a while. Maybe it's an 80s thing. I don't know. But it's really delicious. And when you look at a lot of the recipes online, they're pretty high fat. They've got usually sour cream, mayonnaise, cream cheese. I saw a recipe with all three plus cheese, and which makes it delicious for sure. And the one that I'm doing today is a little lower in fat and higher in fiber and protein and vegetables, so that I think it's a little healthier. Is that enough? You've noticed like things that are real super high fat can produce those kind of sticky highs. They like kick in maybe 3 hours after you eat, and then they might stay high for hours. So this is a little bit more balanced, I think. It still has a nice amount of fat for flavor and nutrition as well, but it's just not super heavy duty fat. It's about a third of the fat actually. So we're going to start with the first ingredient, which is the secret ingredient for this recipe. And it's cauliflower. So what we're going to do is we're going to blanch these guys. These are just cauliflower florets I cut into kind of small pieces. Because we want to cook these until they're tender. And then they're going to be blended. And it'll be part of the base of the cream sauce that we're going to make for the dip. So you can really use cauliflower as a base, part of a cream sauce. You can substitute some of the cream or the fat with cooked blended cauliflower, and it adds like some volume, some flavor. It's not real strong cauliflower flavor, but adds a ton of nutrition and fiber. And lowers the fat of any kind of sauce that you're making. So I'm just waiting for my water to just starting to simmer. And once it gets boiling, we're going to throw in the cauliflower and blanch it for about 6 minutes or until it's tender. And then I'm going to put it in a blender along with some garlic. So I've got 2 nice big cloves. Oh, they're fresh. They're a little hard to crush. So I'm just using the side of my knife to crush them a little bit to open up the skin. And pop them out. That takes some muscle for these guys. And they're going into the cauliflower water as well. And now I'll just cut them up a little bit. Well, that's going to add a nice flavor to the mix, and slightly cooking or blanching the garlic is going to make it a little bit sweeter and mellower. So that'll be nice. So that's still working on boiling. So let's chop up some artichokes. These are just some canned artichokes, just regular old grocery store canned artichokes. And they're the ones without the oil. So you could also use frozen artichoke hearts if you have those. These are just in water. So I've got these, and I'm just going to pat them dry because they can be a little soggy, and that might make the dip a little soggy as well. So I'm going to put them on a kitchen towel here and pat them dry. And artichokes are also quite nutritious, high in fiber, super high in fiber, and got lots of antioxidants, anti-inflammatory chemicals. Are also delicious. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm wondering if anybody grows these or have seen them grow in a garden or maybe in a farmer's market. You can, have you ever seen the artichoke that has flowered? It's beautiful. Actually it's a giant thistle, and it's got this beautiful purple flower if it's allowed to flower. And they're really fun. If you find them out there, you can dry them. And I think once they flower, I don't think you can eat them. But anyway, so I'm just going to chop up my artichoke hearts and put them in a bowl. And I'm chopping them bite-sized pieces, right? Because this will be a dip. So we don't want big chunks of artichoke. It'll be kind of hard to scoop it up with our bread or our chips or whatever we're using as a vehicle for the dip. So there's my artichoke hearts. And then I'm going to chop up a scallion, or a green onion as it's sometimes known. And that goes into the mix. Scallions add another layer of flavor and nutrition. They're some of the most nutritious foods out there, actually. Scallions are packed with wonderful nutrients and great things that help boost your immune system. They belong in the onion and garlic family, so really good for you. And I'm just chopping these kind of thinly. Again, because it's going in the dip, I don't want a big old chunk of scallion. You guys say scallion or green onion? I've always learned scallion, but basically it's the same thing. You could also use chives. If you have those growing in a garden, chives would work here. You could also use an onion. You see, you don't have a scallion. That's all right. Just use an onion. Probably a white onion, maybe a sweet white onion or barrel. And rather than a red onion, I don't think I
We've
do.
got some votes coming in for a
Yeah.
couple of green onions and
Yeah.
at the scallion, pretty evenly split. So bring.
All right. That's important to know. All right. So my water's boiling over here. You can see it, I think. And I've got just a little basket here, and because I'm gonna scoop out the cauliflower when it's cooked. So that goes in like that. And then we'll give it about, they're kind of small, about 5 minutes. I'm just gonna set the timer on the stove. So we don't overcook. All right, so got the scallions, we got the cilantro. I mean, not the cilantro, the artichoke hearts. There's no cilantro anywhere here today, so I don't know where cilantro came from. So let me just set this aside. And one of the other ingredients in our recipe is Greek yogurt. So you can find Greek yogurt in any grocery store these days, right? And basically, it's plain yogurt that has been drained. So I made my own Greek yogurt, and this was just basic plain whole milk yogurt. And I put it in a sieve, like a mesh, and over a bowl, and it just set it in the fridge, and it has been draining. And I'll just pour it out either or peel it out.
Linda, that's fascinating to me. I did not know that's how Greek yogurt was made. How long have you been just letting that sit like that?
Oh gosh, an hour, maybe two.
Okay.
Yeah, the longer you make it, you let it sit, the thicker it gets, right? But you can see the texture. It's not runny like yogurt, right?
Ah,
So this is actually pretty thick. It's almost like I don't know if you've ever tried I hope I don't say it wrong. Labna or lebna. It's a Middle Eastern cheese, which is basically it's just drained. It's yogurt
hmm.
that's just been drained to it's like a cheese consistency, soft cheese. And sometimes it's served with olive oil and spices sprinkled on top. It's really lovely. But yeah, that's Greek yogurt. So if you guys don't see Greek yogurt or you say, gosh, this plain yogurt is just fine. I mean, and it's less expensive than the Greek yogurt. You can just drain it and it'll get thick.
We're gonna count that as a bonus lesson for Scott today. I love it.
Yeah. Maybe it's another one of the secret ingredients. So we've got some Greek yogurt's gonna go in there. And then another ingredient is some cottage cheese. And that's going to blend up really nicely to make the sauce, and it adds a ton of protein. So that's helps to make this dish higher in protein as well. And then our spinach, if you have a bunch of spinach, go ahead and use it. I would just cut off the thick stems. And but if you have baby spinach like this baby, you don't have to cut any of the stems off. And what I'm going to do is after the cauliflower is done, I'm just going to throw the spinach in that hot water and pull it right back out almost. And we're going to just blanch the spinach and cool it down. I've got a little ice bath over here. Cool it down and then chop it up. In lieu of doing this, though, you can just use frozen spinach. So you don't have to worry about, blanching the fresh stuff, or if you don't have fresh stuff. And even if you have baby spinach, if you chop it up finely enough and you mix it in, it's going to bake and it'll be fine too. So lots of different ways to deal with the spinach.
Rita, tell me a little bit more about that. That's also interesting to me. So if you use frozen. What does the blanching do that you don't have to do for the frozen spinach?
Well, the frozen's already blanched. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Any any frozen vegetables will already be pre-cooked a little bit, blanched. I mean, it's just dump it in boiling water, take it right back out. And that helps the whole freezing process better. It helps the vegetables maintain their color and their texture and all that. So yeah, so frozen spinach is basically blanched spinach.
Great. Thank you. We're going to count that as bonus lesson number 2 for Scott.
Yeah, I'm learning so many things today,
Awesome.
Scott. All right, my timer's gonna go off, so that's it. All right. So I am going to pull my cauliflower out.
Rita, we've got another question while you do that. What about if you were using frozen cauliflower?
Do the same thing. I would just thaw it out because it has been blanched.
Right.
Yeah, you could blanch it some more if you want, actually. Taste it. I mean, see, because you want it to be tender. I wish it was tender. Um, because we want our sauce to be smooth. So so you could microwave it. Um, you just don't want it to be al dente or crunchy. That's all you're looking for. All right. All right, spinach is going, and I just turned the water off. I'm putting it in, and it's literally like a couple seconds. And then I'll scoop it out. And we'll, you could use other greens, I think, with this. You could do like a baby kale, maybe. It would have to be baby greens because with the mature greens it'd be too small. So maybe a baby kale or a baby arugula you could use. I've not tried it. The arugula might be really good because the arugula would add a little bit of like a bite, like a spice, which would be really nice. Okay. Now I'm gonna do a switcheroo. I'm gonna move some appliances around. Oh, give me a second here. And get rid of the little stove top here.
And while Rita is rearranging there, please, if you have other questions or would like me to bring something up with Rita, please feel free. I'm keeping an eye on the chat, and I'll be sure to get the questions over to her.
Yes, please. Send them on in. Okay, so now we're gonna blend up our cauliflower. So I'll put this into this blender. Oh, rats, I forgot to throw my garlic in there, the cauliflower. Oh well. We're gonna do raw garlic in the dip instead. Be a little bit more bitey. But oh wait, we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna throw in the cottage cheese. This is how you roll with a recipe, right? Wait, oh, forgot to do that. Well, we'll just adjust it a little bit.
You know, it's funny. Before we came on air, I was talking to Rita about how when we live with diabetes, we're masters at rolling with the punches. And I think that's a skill chefs have as well.
Yeah, because we forget stuff all the time. All right, I put in the Greek yogurt and I'm going to put in some salt and a little bit of Dijon mustard. So that adds a nice flavor. And did I forget anything look at my recipe? We've got our Greek yogurt, our cottage cheese, and oh, a little bit of olive oil. Yep, that goes in there too. You think that's it? Goes in there. All right. So I'm going to blend it up. It'll be a bit of noise. Do you want me to mute that or you're right?
Nope, I'll take care of the noise here.
Okay. Give me a sec. Let's stir it up a little bit.
So when you're stirring it up, you're just looking to make sure you're getting kind of a consistent blend with all the ingredients you've got in there, right?
Doing just making sure it's nice and smooth. Yeah. And once it starts like really blendy, you can tell it's nice and smooth. And you see that okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Just
great.
a nice cream sauce with a cauliflower base. Yeah. All right. So we're going to put our nice skin with the uh, artichokes and the scallions. See how nice that is? It's just super creamy. And then I'm going to chop up the spinach and add that to the mix. So another thing you can do with this recipe is add different vegetables. So if you wanted to throw in some bell peppers or some water chestnuts, that would be yummy. Throw in some grated carrots, all kinds of veggies can go in here. See, I'm just chopping up the spinach a little bit. And that goes in the mix. And then
When you're chopping up that spinach, you're looking for just sizes that you would be comfortable eating, right? It's
totally, yeah, like just little bite-sized pieces. So yeah, that's a great point, Scott. Is when you're making things, think about how you're going to eat them and what's comfortable. Is it a soup? Do you want big chunks? Do you want little chunks? What's the way that you're going to eat it so that it's a good experience for everybody. I'm going to turn my oven on. And so then we just mix this up. And I think I'm going to throw a little bit of ground black pepper in here too. It ate that, but was really well. And then you can spread it into any kind of a baking dish that you have. This is just a pie plate that I have. And I prepared the pie plate. I put just a little bit of olive oil in there to keep things from sticking. And you just spread it out like that. And then put some cheese on top. This is some cheddar cheese. Really any kind that you'd like. And we're going to bake it at 450 for about 15 minutes or until it's nice and hot and bubbly and smells delicious. That's it. Oh yeah, a little crushed red pepper too. As just a little bit of a bite. It's nice to counteract the kind of sweet creaminess of the dip with a little something spicy. So that's it. That's the spinach artichoke dip with hidden cauliflower sauce.
Amazing. It looks so delicious and it's not even baked yet.
I know, right? So I'll just set it over here until my oven heats up and then we'll pop it in the oven. Well, there's that one. All
We
right.
got
So
some comments says that looks incredible, some heart emojis coming in. So yeah, I think it's a hit. Looks great.
guys,
Can't wait to see it on the other end of the oven.
yes. All right. Second one is our protein bars. Let's make those. So I don't know. What do you guys think about protein bars?
I'm a fan of protein bars. Yeah, let us know in the comments. I use them often, especially if I'm busy and just, I need to get something in my system. That's that's not a Snickers bar, it's like I want something a little more nutritious. But yeah, let us know in the comments. What do you think about protein bars?
Yeah, and I'd love to hear if you have some that you really like and why you like them. That would be great because I get questions all the time about protein bars, and I have a few that I like. If I'm out and about and I buy one, um, I like the RX bars. Those are just egg whites, dates, and something else, peanuts or something. I guess it depends on what you buy, right? Um, yeah, there's a couple different brands that I've liked. I try to look for stuff that's just kind of simple, doesn't have a whole lot of added stuff, and I try to find ones that aren't crazy sweet or super high in calories or something. But one thing I do notice is that, especially if you buy them individually, they can be a little spendy. You're gonna spend $2-3 maybe a bar, maybe more sometimes, at least $1.50. Um, I mean, if you a little bit less costly if you buy them in packs, right? So, but you can make your own at home, and there's a bajillion recipes out there, and some use protein powders as a protein booster, which are fine. I tried to make one that was just using basic staple ingredients, so there's no protein powder in this one. So the ingredients are peanut butter. You could also use any kind of nut butter. So you could use almond or cashew if you don't do peanuts. That would be fine. We've got oats. These are just rolled oats. You could also use quick oats. I wouldn't use instant oats, but quick oats would be fine. Some chia seed for some extra fiber and actually protein. Chia seeds actually have there are complete protein. That means they have all the necessary amino acids that we need. And they're also a little bit of a binder in this recipe. So that's what the chia is for. Some chocolate chips, because why not? You could also put dry fruit in here and chocolate chips. You can, change it up. You could put some pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, add things that you like. And then, and eggs. There's eggs in here. And then the secret ingredient is date paste. So it's dates that have been blended up with water, and it makes a lovely sweetener that's similar to um similar to honey, in its level of sweetness, but it's ground up dates, and I really like dates. They are very nutritious. They've got lots of good minerals, magnesium, B vitamins, fiber. They're a little lower glycemic index of like just plain sugar or honey or maple syrup, meaning that they have a little bit slower impact on your glucose levels and don't necessarily impact them as strongly as some of those other sweeteners. So if you don't want to make date paste, you can use honey or any other liquid sweetener. I would use a liquid sweetener for this because you need the moisture. So easy to make date paste, and you can see I have a lot. You can use it in lots of things. I put it in my oatmeal. I'll mix it in like plain yogurt if I want something a little bit sweeter. You can use it in baked goods and, like I said, in place of like honey or liquid sweeteners. So it's delicious. And all you do is you take some dates and you simmer them in hot water. So I think the recipe is like 6 ounces of dates and 2 cups of water, and you simmer them until they're soft. And then drain out all but 1 cup of the water. Save 1 cup of the water, and you put them in a blender with that 1 cup of water, and you blend them. So this is a date. This is a medjool date, MEDJOOL, I think. Medjool date. It's a little bit moister and I think a little sweeter than this is a deglet date. Those are the two you probably are gonna find in the market. The deglet's a little bit skinnier. It's a little bit less moist than the medjool, but they're both delicious. And I think the deglet might be a little bit less sweet as well.
We've got a great question in the chat asking, are pitted dates high in sugar? And if I understood what you described, um, you're getting the sweetness, but also a boatload of additional nutrients, which makes it a great choice. And the fact that the glycemic index leads to a slower increase in blood sugar than simple sweetener might. Did I get that right?
Totally right, Scott. Yep. Yep. So when I think about sweeteners, if I'm using a sweetener that's not a non-nutritive sweetener, like a non-caloric or a sweetener that has no carbs, I try to use a sweetener that's more like a whole food that has actually some nutrients to it as well. And that's with the date piece. So you're eating a fruit, so it does have absolutely has sugar, natural sugar. But it also comes with a ton of fiber, B vitamins, magnesium, vitamin C, a lot of the potassium, a lot of the nutrients that your body needs to metabolize glucose. And it is a slightly lower glycemic index as well. Like I said, than those other sweeteners. So try it. It also adds a really nice flavor to the bars. So all you do to make these bars is mix up. I'm just making half a batch because I have so many of these because I was making so many to try out different, trying to find the best recipes. So I'm making a half a batch. But I've been eating them like crazy because they're really good. And I'll tell you, I was painting the last 2 days. I've been painting a house and eating hummus and crackers and protein bars. So these snacks they're great to take with you when you're out doing stuff. Keeps you going.
I could totally picture myself doing the same thing if we were switched spots. We've got another great question in the chat. What's the difference between dates and figs? Are they in the same family? Are they completely different? What's
Great question. I don't know if they're in the same family. I think they're in a different family. I have figs. Let me go get them. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's a great question, and folks, keep the questions coming. We'll take as many as we can during the time we have.
Figs are another favorite dried fruit of mine. And I was snacking on figs as well. That's why I have this bag of figs. Um, so these are figs. So figs you can eat fresh, and they're I don't know they're kind of like that big. Um, they're hard to find unless you're in a fig growing area. Scott, I imagine in San Diego you get a lot of figs.
I I haven't.
That was you.
Yeah, and let me do some checking, and I'll report back.
But yeah, I know California is a big growing area, but this is a black mission fig. Um, and there's also so these are darker color. There's also Turkish figs that's a little bit bigger and lighter in color. And if you open them up, there's all these like seeds inside. So if this was fresh, this flesh would be purple, and all these little seeds are in there. Fig is also very high in fiber, not as low as in glycemic index as the dates, but similar. Yeah, I love figs. I think they're a great snack. I do a lot of figs and peanut butter. Scoop of peanut butter on a fig, and there you go. It's a good snack. Okay, so looks like my oven's still heating up. So I'm gonna start adding my ingredients for our protein bars. Has anybody tried to make a protein bar recipe? And also, again, are there any that you like, any brands out there that you enjoy? Let us know and let us know why. I always like to learn from you guys. So I'm adding some peanut butter. This is a natural peanut butter. It doesn't have sweetener added to it, and it's kind of like a runnier kind of peanut butter. It's not real stiff. This is a brand called Teddy. Um, the runnier one seems to make them, I think, makes the bars a little moister. So I like those. Oop, let me put this in the oven. Set that for 15 minutes. And I'm going to add the oats and the date paste, about a third of a cup. And if you didn't want to use the date paste, just use honey or a maple syrup or syrup, brown rice syrup would work too. If you use,
Can I ask a silly question? When you were talking about the ingredients earlier, if I remember correctly, you said something about you wouldn't recommend instant oats, but quick oats, rolled oats are okay. And I have to admit, I don't really know the difference between all those different kinds.
yeah, great question. It's the particle size. So if you think about it, if you've opened up a package of instant oats, you'll notice that they're very, very small particles, almost like dusty. Um, so they wouldn't have the best texture for these. But the quick oats are a little bit bigger particles, but smaller than the rolled oats. So they take the rolled oats and they chop them up a little bit and they make quick oats.
Okay, great.
No,
Thank you.
killing versions of oats, right? So here's my date paste that's going in there, and my chia seeds, and I'm gonna mix it all up, and then throw in the chocolate chips. So it's almost like you're making almost like cookie dough, and the chips. I don't know if you can see the texture of it. It's like a nice,
It looks very much like cookie dough. You're right.
like oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, right? So minus the flour and the baking soda and all that. But I usually put a pinch of salt in there too. Salt helps to bring out a little bit of the sweet. That's why you'll often see salt, like a little bit of salt in baked goods. So that's it. That's the texture you're looking for. And then I have a baking pan here, lined with parchment paper, which makes it way easier to get these out. And it also helps because, excuse me, I'm going to spread out the dough and then we're going to compress it. And so I'm going to use the parchment paper to do that. Just scoop it out. And these cost just under $1 each to make. I think if you added up all the ingredients. So a little bit less expensive than you'd find like in a store. If you made one. Just, you need to see that it's a little sticky, a little moist. That's what you want. Too dry, then your bars are going to be a little dry. So, and then I'm just going to fold this over and squish it. And give it a good squish. So that helps them just hold together a little bit better. And then you just unwrap it and bake it. Very good. There's your protein bars. They're a little more like an amoeba here than a square, but I think I can even that out a little bit. So there you go. If you wanted to add some protein powder, I would maybe take out some of the oats. It will make it a little drier. So just want to be careful of the texture. So that goes in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. And this is what they look like when you're done. Okay. So they hold together pretty well.
Yeah, that looks fabulous.
Yeah, you can pack them. You can wrap them in some wax paper or put them in a single bag or um so they hold together nicely and they taste great. Not sick of them yet.
Got some more heart emojis coming in. Looks like they look good too.
They're good. I mean, what's not good with some chocolate chips and peanut butter? I don't know.
We did get a great question. Do you slice them into individual servings while they're still hot, or do you let them cool? Is there some timing element there?
That's cool. Yeah, if you did it when they were hot, I don't they'll fall apart. Excuse me. So yeah, let them cool before you slice them. Yeah. If you make them and you think, gosh, these need to be a little sweeter or I want them to be moister, you could add more sweetener. You could use a different sweetener. Um you could add some granulated sweetener like monk fruit or if you wanted to use stevia or something like that. You could use a little coconut oil added to the mix will make them even moister and chewier. If you find that they turned out a little too dry for you, the fat content is the thing that's gonna make them moister and chewier. So, all right. So that was the secret ingredient, date paste. And now, while our dip is cooking, let's make some hummus. And so hummus is like out there everywhere now, right? You find all sorts of varieties and flavors and um, I saw chocolate hummus the other day. I didn't try it, but I wonder what that's like. So you can definitely buy it. It's a great simple thing. If you're looking for food in a grocery store to take with you to go, buying a little thing of hummus and some baby carrots or some crackers, super easy. I do like making hummus at home. It's so easy. And it's also it's variable. You can add lots of different things to add different flavors and colors and things. So we're going to start with my food processor. So I got to go get another appliance. I'll be right back.
I love that we get to see a little bit of behind the scenes of the shuffling the kitchen around to make these different recipes.
Right, right. I don't have like the camera crew where I can go and do.
Maybe next season. We'll get a camera crew for next season.
Yeah, right. Um, so you can do this in a blender. A food processor works usually a little better because hummus is kind of thick. But um, so the basic ingredients are we've got tahini. So this is tahini. It looks like peanut butter. Um, Yeah, except it's a little runnier usually. It's always a lot runnier, and it's just roasted sesame seeds that are ground up into a paste. So there's tahini, there's lemon. So I put the juice of one big lemon in this recipe. There are garbanzo beans and garlic. Now, where did my garlic go?
Well, Rita, while you're looking for your garlic, I'm going to admit to a bonus lesson number 3 for me today. I did not know tahini was blended sesame seeds. So, yeah, I'm learning so much today. This is great.
I'm so glad. That makes me happy. Yeah, sesame seeds. How many of you guys use tahini? There's lots of different ways. It's often in a sauce or a dressing that you'll find. Again, often with Middle Eastern food, it goes with falafel. If you ever had falafel, you've had tahini.
That's where I know it from. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, it's really a rich. Crazy nutritious, very high in minerals, especially calcium, actually, protein, um, and yeah. So it's just sesame seeds, and you want to add the tahini in gradually. If you're not sure you like it, it does have in excess a little bit of a bitter edge. So, uh, so you want to, if you're not sure. So I got a couple cloves of garlic here. What I'm gonna do is just chop them real quick first in the. Oops. All right. Oh, I got put that. Sometimes chopping the garlic first helps just blend it with other ingredients. So I've got some garbanzo beans. I cooked these, but you can use canned. And if you have a Instapot or a pressure cooker, these are garbanzo beans that I just soaked overnight and they cooked in 20 minutes in the pressure cooker. So from dry, uh, they cook perfectly around 20 minutes. So good. If you can use canned as well. And save a little of the cooking liquid and also the canning liquid because we're going to add a little liquid to this too as needed. And tahini goes in there next. And some salt. And add more or less garlic. Some people like it like it almost hurts. There's so much garlic. And I'm just gonna squeeze a lemon in here. And this is where you'll taste it and you will adjust it for your taste. So you may say, gosh, that needs more lemon, or that needs more tahini, or that needs more salt, that needs more garlic. So always think about adding stuff, a little bit less than what you might think you need, and then because you can always add more later. And I love these little lemon squeezers. Have you seen these? They're great. Um, all right. They do a pretty good job. Okay, so I'm going to blend it and see if it needs some more liquid. Good set. Just blend it till it looks nice and smooth. I'm just going to taste it. That's good. And these beans were pretty moist, so they had a little bit of liquid in them too. So I'm not going to add any more liquid. Um, that's basic hummus. Then you get to play with it and see what you want to add to it. So you could throw a roasted red pepper in here. You could use roasted garlic for a nice, like, rich flavor. You could throw herbs in here. Um, cilantro, actually. That one was pretty good. Um, and then my super secret ingredient is one that I'm wondering if anybody has tried in hummus. I only know it from a restaurant I used to cater with. I used to work for them doing catering. And it was a recipe the owner made up. And it was so popular because it's so unusual. Um, it's adding pickled vegetables. So there's these vegetables called giardiniera. Can you see that? I have no idea how to actually say that. But you know those pickled vegetables you get like in Italian restaurants? Like the pepperoncinis and the hot peppers, that sort of thing. Um, that's what this is. They're all chopped up. This says Greek style or Chicago style. There we go. Um, but putting some of this, like a tablespoon of this, into the hummus is unbelievably good. So you could throw this in when you blend up the hummus, or you could just add it. You could add it on top. I gotta get my dip.
We got comments saying that looks yummy.
Yeah.
Look good, yeah.
Yes. Um, and it's got this is spicy. So, add as, you think you can handle the spice because I'm not very good at spice. Like a little bit, but not too much. But yeah, you just blend it in. And like I said, you can also throw it into the food processor to make it smooth if you'd like. Or you can leave it like this so it's got little surprise, little bites like that. Oh, so good. So good. Mm. Mm. That's my secret ingredient for hummus.
I love it. We got some hearts coming up again too, so it looks like that's also a hit.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you to the owner of it's called BFS, the restaurant in Albany, New York.
Great.
Yeah.
We had a question come in earlier, just after you put the spinach artichoke dip in the oven to bake, but I think it would also apply equally well now that the hummus is ready.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the things you like to dip in these dips, or
Oh,
what's the vehicle you use for them?
vehicle. Oh boy, there are so many good choices. Well, chips. I really love blue corn chips. Those are my favorite. Um, Veggies, chips and veggies, crackers. Uh, the hummus I'll use almost like a salad dressing. I've got like a tossed salad. I'll put a big glob of hummus in the salad. Uh, let's see how else do I eat these things? Uh, Here's the bit over so you can see it. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah. We've got a party going on here. And yeah, those are some of the things I use. Where's that going? It's a little bit backwards on my camera. Um,
That looks
yeah.
great.
How about you, Scott? Do you have any favorite beyond?
Yeah, usually with I love hummus. I'm a big fan of hummus, and I usually enjoy it with like pita chips or pita bread.
Yeah.
I also, in addition to the tahini with falafel, I'll often get a side of hummus to go along with it too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So good. So good. Yeah. So there you go, folks. There's our
Oh, look at that dip. That looks great.
nice and cheesy.
Yeah, looks great. Well, I think it's about time that we vote on what next month's recipes are going to be. So I
Right.
don't know, get that going here. And folks, you should see a poll up on your Zoom screen somewhere. So we've got two choices. Um, the first is summer salads, so potato, green beans, and olive salad, and a summer couscous salad. The other option is two simple stovetop meals for summer: migas, eggs, veggies, and chips, and chicken lettuce wraps. And Rita, I have to make another confession. I had never heard of migas before seeing this as an option. So
Yes,
I'm
that's
learning
good.
a lot here.
Yeah, veggies and eggs and cheese and chips that you cook in with it, and oh, it's so
Yeah, it looks great. So we've got right now the stovetop meals are winning
good. Okay.
about 80%, but I'm gonna leave it up for another few minutes. Um, and why don't I jump into sharing what some upcoming events are? So let me switch cameras here. And I'll get the recipes out to everybody in the email as well too. But anyway, let me back up a second. Sorry about the audio trouble. Um, Coming up on this Thursday, the 12th, is our Spanish group session. And then on Monday, June 30th, later in the month, Carrie's going to be talking about T1D and your rights. So she'll talk about what protections we're afforded by the Americans with Disabilities Act and what sort of resources we have available. Go through there and the other ADA, the American Diabetes Association, and other resources that she knows about. Then on Thursday, July 3rd, will be the English group session. The topic for this month is appropriately T1D and independence. And then, as a quick reminder, the office will be closed for the 4th of July holiday. So there won't be a Friday group session this month. And then we'll move into next month. We'll have our cooking class on Monday, July 7th. And just looking at the votes again, it looks like the two stovetop meals are the leaders for that one. So, and then as you can see later in the month, we'll have another webinar on July 16th with Sherry covering insulin pump and CGM basics. So keep an eye on your email and text messages for more information on all of those events. I'm also excited to share that we have added an events list on our website so you can see upcoming dates and times and register for any of the upcoming events that you'd like to attend. And then finally, please do share your feedback. Depending on how you join, um, you may see a survey once you close out of here, or I'll also include the link in the follow up email. We'd love to know if this was helpful, what other topics, what other recipes you'd like us to cover. You want us to continue doing cooking classes? I sure hope you do because these are a lot of fun for me, and I think Rita enjoys them as well. Um, and then finally, closing out, for anyone here today who may not be familiar with Blue Circle Health, I'm going to jump into a quick 5-minute overview and then stick around to answer questions. Rita, we'll let you drop off whenever you'd like. And then also, anyone here who is already familiar with us, you can also drop off anytime you like. But thank you again for being here. Thank you for another great session. And I'm going to jump into that introduction here now. All right. So Blue Circle Health offers free clinical care, education, and support for people with type 1 diabetes. We are a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization funded by the Helmsley Charitable Trust. They're an organization dedicated to improving the lives of people with type 1 diabetes. We're a virtual program for adults living with T1D, again, offering free care, education, and support to those who need an extra hand. And we're an extension of the care that you already receive. So you stay connected to your medical home, and we're just here to help close the gap. So, what exactly does that mean? Our program is up to 6 months long. It's done entirely virtually over Zoom, text, and phone. It offers as much or as little support as requested, and you can take advantage of every service we offer or just pick the ones that you need. And I'll go into more on that in just a second. Again, you stay connected to your primary care providers and endos, and we send them chart notes and updates throughout the program. Our services are free regardless of insurance and immigration status, and re enrollment is possible 1 year from the original enrollment date. The graphic on the right there shows the available services, and I'll describe them in more detail going counterclockwise, starting with clinical care. So, our clinical care is exactly what it sounds like, it's visits with an endocrinologist or an advanced nurse practitioner. Next is insurance navigation or consultation with insurance specialists who can help you understand and maximize any insurance coverage you may have or help you find insurance coverage if needed. And they also help with prior authorizations. Next is diabetes supportive counseling, which offers help with the emotional burden of T1D. Then we have case management, and our case managers can help if you're struggling with food, housing, or employment insecurities. We know that it's really hard to focus on diabetes management when you've got some bigger problems that you're focused on and kind of wrestling with. Peer support. So, in addition to monthly group sessions, which we host, as you heard about in the upcoming events, you'll have a dedicated T1D support guide to work with who will just be there for you. They'll be your point of contact, and they can also help you navigate and understand all of those other services. We do also offer, of course, education and nutrition. So these are visits with registered dietitians and certified diabetes care and education specialists. Rita is one of our educators who you may be meeting with in that if you take advantage of that service line. Then there are two additional programs available within the Blue Circle Health program. The first is prescription assistance. So it's a program for qualified applicants who need help paying for supplies and medications. The qualifications for that is an income level at or below 300% of the federal poverty level. The other program is an Intro to CGM, which provides 3 months of free education and access to a CGM for those who have not had reliable access to one before. When it comes to eligibility requirements, the requirements are a diagnosis of type 1 diabetes. That also includes LADA and things like that. And no, this is not just for newly diagnosed. We're here for you anywhere along your T1D journey. Uh, Age 18 plus, so we're only serving adults, English and or Spanish speaking, and ability to connect and participate in virtual care. So that means access to a smartphone or computer for Zoom video calls. You must have a PCP or be willing to be connected to one. No current pregnancy. And then you also have to reside in one of the states where we're available in. The day that is Florida, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Ohio, Delaware, Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri, or Iowa. And the list of states is growing. So check on our website and follow us on social media for the latest, especially for those who might be watching this recording a little bit down the road. Next, I'd love to play a short video from a few of the people who have gone through the program. It's about 90 seconds long. And while that's playing, go ahead and share any questions you might have in the chat. I'm happy to stick around and answer them.
I was waking up and my blood sugars at 400, 600 every day. That to me, waking up dizzy, tired was normal.
My day consisted of working with my carbs all day long. I didn't have a life. I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I knew nothing about the pump.
And even with the knowledge I have as a nurse, I still didn't have the knowledge to control my diabetes.
I didn't have the right tools or the right education, even though I've been diabetic my whole life.
It just became so common to me to keep getting sick all the time, all the time. The ambulance people already knew me. I knew the crew that was gonna pick me up. It's scary.
And then Blue Circle showed up.
The confidence I have today, I feel like a new person. I feel happier. I feel safer. I'm just glad I grasped the control in time.
My journey with you guys has been amazing. I feel like I have my life back.
I don't know where I would be right now. And I am so, I'm trying not to cry. I'm so grateful for your program. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
When you change somebody's life in the way they have changed mine, and after a lot I've been through with diabetes, it's priceless.